The piece I chose was chosen was taken from our textbook and was an article written and published in the New York Times. This article was written on May the 13th of 2007. It's called Someone's Mother, and it's by Joan Murray. The article takes place in upstate New York outside of Albany. Joan is driving down Route 20 on her way back home from an appointment and notices a hitchhiker on the side of the road. After driving down the road a ways, something tells her to turn around. So after she turns around and goes back to where the hitchhiker is, she realizes that she is an elder woman. After talking to her, trying to take her home or call someone, Joan realizes that the woman has forgotten where she lives. Then Joan can recall the same not so long ago where she went through with her mother as well. I just thought this was an interesting article because when I see hitchhikers, I always ask myself why or who. So maybe this is something you can relate to. Someone's Mother by Joan Murray. Hitchhiking is generally illegal where I live in upstate New York, but it's not unusual to see someone along Route 20 with an outstretched thumb or a handmade sign saying Boston. The hitchhiker, though, was waving both arms in the air and grinning like a president boarding Air Force One. I was doing 60, eager to get home after a dental appointment in Albany, and I was a mile past the hitchhiker before something told me to turn around. I couldn't say if the hitchhiker was a man or a woman. All I knew was the hitchhiker was old. As I drove back up the hill, I eyed the hitchhiker in the distance. Dark blue raincoat, jaunty black beret, thin arms waving, spine was a little bent, wisp of white hair as the trucks whizzed by. I made a U-turn and pulled up on the gravel, face to face with the eager old woman who kept waving till I stopped. I saw no broken down vehicle. There was no vehicle at all. She wore the same broad grin I noticed when I passed her. I rolled down the window. "Can I call someone for you?" "No, I'm fine. I just need a ride." "Where are you going?" "Nassau." "That was 3 miles away." "Are you going there to shop?" "No, I live there." "What are you doing here?" I asked with the tone I hadn't used since my son was a teenager. "I was out for a walk." I glanced down the road. Jets Auto Body, Copeland Coating, Thomas Tire Company, and a half-mile hill outside of Nassau. So steep that there's a second lane for trucks. She must have climbed the shoulder of that hill, and the next one, and the next one, until something made her throw up her hands in the air. "Did you get lost?" I asked, trying to conceal my alarm. "It was a nice day," she said with a little cry. Can an old lady go for a walk on a nice day and get lost? It wasn't a question meant to be answered. She came around to the passenger side, opened the door, and sat down. On her way to Nassau, she admitted to being 92. Though she ducked my questions about her name, her address, and her family. "Just leave me at the drugstore," she said. "I'll take you home," I said. "Then you can call someone." "Please," she said, "just leave me at the drugstore." "I can't leave you there," I replied as firmly. "I'm going to take you to your house, or else the police station." "No, no," she begged. She was agitated now. "If my son finds out, he'll put me in a home." Already I was seeing my mother, who's 90. A few years ago, she was living in her house on Long Island, surrounded by neighbors, bird feeders, her azaleas. Then one morning she phoned my brother to say she couldn't remember how to get dressed anymore. A few weeks later, with sorrow and worry, we arranged to move to a nursing home. I noticed the hitchhiker had a white pin doved to her collar. "Do you belong to a church?" I tried. "Yes," she said. She was grinning. "I'd like to take you there." I said. "No, please," she said again. "My son will find out." Things were getting clear. "You've gotten lost before." "A few times," she shrugged. "But I always find my way home. Just take me to the drugstore." As we drove, I kept thinking about my mother, watched over her and cared for in a bright, clean place. I also thought about her empty bird feeders, her azaleas blooming for no one to see, the way she whispers on the phone, "I don't know anyone here." When I pulled into the parking strip beside the drugstore, the hitchhiker let herself out. "I just need to sit on the step for a while," she said before closing the door. I stepped out after her. "Can't I take you home?" I said as gently as I could. She looked into my eyes for a moment. "I don't know where I live," she said in the tiniest voice, "but someone will come along who knows me. They always do." I watched as she sat herself down on the step. Already she had dismissed me from her service. She was staring ahead with her grin intact, waiting for the person who would aid her. I should call the police, I thought, but then surely her son would be told. I should speak with the pharmacist. Surely they might know her, though they might know her son as well. Yet who was I to keep this incident from him? And yet how could I help him put this hitchhiker in a home? "Promise me you'll tell the druggist if no one comes soon," I said to her with the greatest seriousness. "I promise," she said with a little tearful wave.